demo, controlling access to data. Let's see what we got here. I'm Mark Ott. I'll be your benevolent host. So let's go to the notebook, controlling access to data. And I've already run the classroom setup. Looks like here's my Unity catalog, and here's my schema. And you know what? If I go to the second swim lane here, I can confirm that exists. There's my catalog, and there's my example schema. Looks like I got a bunch of tables under here and one view. Okay, so I wonder what my current catalog and my current schema are. Let's go find out. We'll do a select, and I'm exactly where I want to be. Okay, so I'm right here. So let's talk about controlling access to data. Okay, first let's look at our view and take a peek at that. Let's see here. I only got 4 columns, and yep, here they are. My monitoring device, the name, and my average heart rate that it's tracking on a certain day. Okay, so we've got that information there. Only 6 rows. Okay. If someone else were to run this query, it would currently fail because there aren't any permissions on this table. Okay, we haven't done any grant statements yet. Only the owner can access the table. Actually, that's not true. The account administrator for this UC Metastore can access it. And if you're a Metastore administrator and you have a table in the Metastore that the administrator has a role for, then they would be able to also access it. So 3 people, the owner, the account admin, and the Metastore admin would be able to access the table. So let's go ahead and let's issue a grant statement. We're going to say grant use catalog to my catalog, and any schemas underneath my catalog, you can use those, and any tables and views you can select as well to anyone who has a user account. Okay, let's take a look here. Note, you will encounter a permission denied error because you're working in a shared training workspace. You do not have permissions to provide users access to your catalog. Oh, okay. So we have some other issues. Oh, we don't have the manage catalog permission. Oh, interesting. And you know why? Let's go take a look. Let's go find out why. Let's go back to this catalog. And you know what I'm going to do? I don't want to leave this notebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate. So I have a new tab. Then I'll go to Catalog Explorer. I'll go to the catalog that I supposedly own. But look who really owns this catalog. Who owns this catalog? It's not me. It's this guy. It's a service principal, actually. Oh, so I don't really, since I didn't create this, I'm not the owner. And I would need the manage permission. Let's take a look. Oh, look at this. I can't even grant. I need the permission called manage for me. And me is this guy right here, this user account. Yep, I can't even grant. Okay, so that makes sense. We saw the error message here, and we saw the same error message in Catalog Explorer when we tried to grant permissions on this catalog. Okay, so we saw it in 2 places. Okay, very good. Let's see here. You can also revoke, assuming you have permissions on that object. You'd issue a revoke use catalog, use schema, select. Now, I'm going to have the same problem. Since I'm not the owner of this catalog, I'm going to get a big fat, hey, You don't have the manage permission. So I would need the owner to log in, go to that catalog and give me my user account, this guy right here, give me the manage permissions. Then I could issue these grant and revoke statements. Okay, good to know. Okay, let's take a look here. Use grant and return an error. You can grant access to objects that you own within your catalog, like schemas and views. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's go ahead and run this. We're going to grant use schema and grant select on the view. So even though we couldn't put permissions on the catalog, we can issue grant statements for the underlying schema called example. So let's see if this works. Oh, no problem. Let's go see why, though. Let's go back to Catalog Explorer, and let's drill down. How come I was able to put permissions on the example? Oh, I was able to put permissions on the example object because look who the owner is. That's me. So now I can put permissions on this. And what other permissions I just granted? I granted the use schema for the example schema, and looks like all privileges as well. Did I do that too? Oh, I granted select on the VW Gold view. So let's drill down to the VW Gold view. There's the VW Gold. Let's look at the permissions for this. Okay, number one, I'm the owner. It says so right here. And under permissions, I have all account users have the select permission. But I have everything because I'm the owner. Okay, since I was able to execute this, and I went into the Catalog Explorer UI to confirm, I could see the use schema and the select permission, which I saw. Very good. Let me see here. Now let's talk about row and column security. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a column mask. Okay. Now, this is a two-step process. When you do column masking, step one, you create a UDF that contains the logic. This group or this user can do this, and then by default, all the others can't. Okay, so we're going to create a row filter. Okay, so we're going to create a row filter and a column mask. So we're going to be doing both. Okay, so let's do the column mask first. Okay, first let's look at our silver table before we apply any type of security. Okay, how many rows do I have in here? I got 30 rows. Device ID, monitoring device, a numeric, the name, time, and the heart rate of that person. Okay, so I see the data. Let's create a SQL function to perform column masking. So first, I want to use the function isAccount group member to see if my user account, which is this guy right here's my user account, is this user account a member of the Metastore admin? And I can tell you right now, the answer is no. Nope, I am not a member. Okay, good to know. Now, here is my function. Okay, here's going to be, I want to mask the MRN column. And if you recall, that's this right here. Okay, I'm going to do a mask on that column. So let's take a look. I'm going to use a case statement. If you're a member of the Metastore admins group, then you can see this column. If you're not a member, you're going to have this value in the column redacted. So it's just a simple case statement. Case statements are conditional processing. Okay, so I create my function. And now I'm going to apply that function to my table. Excuse me. And here I do my alter table silver. I want to alter the column called MRN, and I want to put a mask on it. And the name of my mask is the function, MRN mask. So this goes here. Okay, we go like that. Now let's see if it works. I'm not a member of the Metastore admin group, so I'm going to get the MRN column being masked with redacted. So we'll run that. Check it out. The MRN column is redacted. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now, if I want to drop that mask, I would just go ahead and do an alter column. For the MRN column, you can drop the mask. Now, before I drop this, though, one of the questions I would have is, how can I tell if I have a mask on my table? Let me show you before I drop this mask. I'm going to sprout a new cell, and I'm going to say show create table. And what was the name of this table? Silver. Okay. Let's take a look here. Oh, yeah. There's a mask on the MRN column. Okay. The name of that mask is MRN mask. Okay. So you can tell that there is a mask on this table. And then if you wanted to see what that mask was composed of, let's see, I could go to Catalog Explorer. I could go down to my functions. Oh, let me take a look here. Do I have to refresh this? Yeah, there we go. I had to refresh. Here's my MRN mask. And here is the conditional processing. So you can back into what the SQL function looks like. You can see it here in Catalog Explorer. And I can see I have a mask on my MRN column. Okay, so in case you wanted to know if you have a column mask, you can see it. Okay, now let's go ahead and drop that mask. Now, that means if I run this again, probably shouldn't see this. Let's go ahead and double check. Nope, you don't see it anymore. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, after I do the alter table and I drop that mask, I can now, if I wanted to, I could drop the SQL function as well. So you want to drop them in that order. First, remove it with the alter table. Then you can drop the function. You don't want to drop the function while it's still attached to the table. That can cause problems. So you want to do it in the right order. Okay, so now I drop my function. Now let's do some row filtering. I'm done doing column masking. Let's do some row filtering. It's the same concept. It's a two-step process. Okay, first let's look at the server table again. And my device IDs in descending order. My highest device ID is 37. My lowest is 17. Okay, good to know. Let's create a row filter. Okay, first, is my user account a member of the admin? And the answer is no, false. So my user account is not a Metastore admin, nor is it an admin. Okay, I'm going to create my function. We'll call it the device filter. So we're going to filter rows from the device ID column based on a certain value. Okay, let me see here. If you're a member of the admin group, you're going to be able to see all the rows. Okay, but if you're not a member of the admin group, you're only going to be able to see rows where device ID is less than 30. So that means I'm going to miss out on from row 1 to row 9. All these are greater than 30, obviously. So I'll see 20 of the 30 rows. Is that it? No, 21 rows of the 30. Okay. So let's create our function. There we go. And now we're going to tie it to the silver table. Set a row filter. Okay. The name of the function is device filter. On which column? The device ID. Okay, there we go. Now, let's go ahead and see if our row filter worked. I'm not an admin. How many rows do I see? I see 21 rows. There we go, 21 rows. I see my maximum device ID is 23, my low is 17. I only can see the ones that are less than device ID less than 30 based on this logic. So it worked just fine. If I do a show, create table, silver, let's see if we can see if we have a row filter on this table. Yep, there it is. We have a function called device filter. Okay, so you can see if you have one. I'm going to drop the row filter from the silver table. And now if I query the same table again, I'm back to seeing all 30 rows. Sure enough, there's all 30 rows, and I can see the device IDs that are greater than 30 now. Okay, so it worked. Let me drop the function. There we go. And that takes care of that. So that's the preferred way of doing row filtering and column masking. However, the older way was using dynamic views. Same concept, but now you have to deal with another object, a view, that's lying on top of that table. Okay, so let's do the same lab we did. Am I a member of the Metastore admins? The answer is no, I'm not. Okay, here I'm creating my view. I'm sourcing it from the silver table. And here is going to be my case statement. Now, since my case statement is in the select clause, this is going to do some column masking. If you're a member of the Metastore admins, you can see the values for the MRN column. Else, if you're not a member, it's going to show redacted. And I'm going to do the same thing on the name column. Hey, if you're not a Metastore admin, you have no business seeing the name. So here I'm doing 2 column masks. Okay. Now, nothing stops me from doing column masking and row filtering in the same create view statement, but we're doing it one at a time. Okay. And I'm also doing some aggregations on here, aren't I? I want the average heart rate. So let's go ahead and create our dynamic view. I'm going to issue a grant statement since this is a new object to all account users. And now let's select the view. And since I'm not a member of the Metastore admins, look what happens to the MRN column and the name column. Oops, thought I could do that. Yeah, they're both redacted. Okay. Now I can also restrict rows. Let's use the same view name. And this time my case statement is going to be in the where clause, which means I'm going to filter out rows. Okay. Hey, if you're in the Metastore admins group, you can see all the devices. But if you're not, you're going to see the devices that are less than 30. We issue it. Now we grant select permissions on that new object. And now when I query this, I'm only going to see 21 rows out of the 30. And there we go. I only can see 21 rows. Don't see any device IDs that are greater than 30, because I said you can see ones that are less than 30. Now, you know what? I wonder, can you do a show, create view? I never really thought about this. Can you see? Oh, show, create table. I forgot. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see it. Right there it is. Okay. That's new. I'm going to have to play around with that. With schema compensation. I don't know what that means. At any rate, you can see that you do have a dynamic view and have some conditional processing going on. Okay. You not only can you do row filtering and column masking, you also can do something called data masking. Let's take a look here. You might remember this lab from earlier. We created a mask for string characters. I want everything to have a splat or an asterisk, except for the left two most string values. So here I create a function called DB Academy Mask. I create or replace my view. Here is my column masking. And notice I'm using my function here. So go ahead and put splats for the MRN value, except for the two leftmost values. And then here is my row filtering. So here I'm doing both column masking here with a function, a freestanding function, and I'm doing a row filter. And then we'll reissue the grant statement. Okay, and now let's see if it worked. The MRN column is masked, and I only see rows that are less than 30. Very good. So that's dynamic views. An alternative way, instead of using the row filtering and column masking at the table level. Okay, did we get it all done? Yep, that's about it. My name is Mark Ott. Thanks for attending the Controlling Access to Data using both dynamic views and row filtering and column masking. See you.